Gonzaga and Baylor, probably the most anticipated um, game of the season of the college basketball season because it was the top two teams in the country playing each other during non-conference regular season, what have you. Um, it got canceled or postponed. One of them I don't consider it canceled until they say we have a date. Um, it was postponed or what have you due to COVID concerns. Um,
They shouldn't
shooting,
be playing basketball.
they should not, but we are here and it's happening anyway.
Stupid.
Um, and of course, it's probably Bailey's most anticipated game since Brittany Griner graduated. Um, but it's also just kind of a shame because both the teams look pretty good. Having watched both of them, what was it? I think Wednesday.
Uh-huh.
Um, the Zag played West Virginia, and Baylor played Illinois, and they look like very good programs. One of the Zag's better players, Jalen Suggs, got hurt. He was able to come back, and they got out a win. But it was one of those games that, like, doesn't happen too often, so it's kind of a shame that it didn't get to happen.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't know what to say. Like, these things are gonna happen if you're more work or if you're more focused on like the capital you'll gain from athletics than like the athletes themselves and the faculty members themselves, the coaches, the janitors, the people who wipe the courts. Like, if you're more focused on like the money you'll gain than you are the actual people who are making that money, capitalism, then these things are bound to happen. But we should be playing. But it is what it is. Like I hate when people say like it is what it is as like I feel like a lot of times a cop out answer. But
Hmm.
I think at this moment that's kind of what it is though. Like it is what it is because you're allowing them to play. So like these hazards are going to happen, and you can't necessarily control it. Like you could, there's not going to be a bubble. You know what I mean? Like you can't
Hmm.
control it. Um, you can't control it if like people were trying to do in like November or not November. Like people trying to do in like June, May, July. Like you can't control it. So if you want to play in open spaces with everybody there, not everybody there, but enough people there to where something might happen, then you're running the risk of people getting sick. And if you think it's worth it, go ahead. But that's obviously what they're doing because they know money hungry America. But tweets so.
I mean, like, in fairness, at least as far as like coaches and players are concerned, and it doesn't mean they should be playing, but like players want to play games, coaches want to coach, so the desire to play
Yeah.
is kind of a natural one. Even if like you can look at it and be like, this is probably not that great an idea this year, because it's not for any number of logical and understandable reasons.
I
But
mean, it's
hmm,
just it's just strange. Not necessarily strange. I just find it interesting that kids are the athletes, right? So like for college, they're kids, right? They're not living adult lives. They're kids. They don't even have jobs. They have jobs, but we all know that whole entire issue. All of a sudden, you want to listen to them? like we want to play. You know what? You're right. They want to play, so they should let them play. Listen to the athletes. All of a sudden, you want to listen to the athletes? You know what I mean? Like it's so situational, and there's nothing constant about the dialogue that it's kind of infuriating because all it is NCAA going, all right, this falls in line with our agenda. Let's do this. No, 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 that doesn't. So we'll just disregard that. Like that's all it is. But like I feel like it's in our face, but enough people aren't seeing it.
Hmm.
It's I don't know. It's frustrating. It's frustrating because you're you making these kids work during this pandemic and all kind of stuff, or play kids play. You pretty much classified them as essential workers, but you don't want to pay them. So it just so it falls in line with why are you paying people the least money, or for college athletes no money, to create entertainment for us as we sit at home. It makes no sense. Like it really makes no sense. But it's the NCAA just trying to get a fast one on everybody, which they're doing. Like it's working, unfortunately, but it's working. But it's like they're dangling it in front of our face, like a Twinkie in front of a fat man, and we just don't see it because we're so focused on our we being everybody more focused on like trivial things, I guess. Um, which in hindsight, not in hindsight, like if you think about it, like no matter how much you love sports, like I love sports, Calvin, you love sports, Alan, I'm assuming also loves sports. Um,
Yeah.
if we love sports, but in terms of life, sports are trivial, but they're acting like it's not. So it's like I don't know, like like you can't allow a business, which is NCAA, college basketball, sports, whatever it is, football, whatever. You can't allow a business and people who are businessmen, being the CEOs and all these people, the heads of boards, all kind of stuff. You can't allow them to dictate certain situations, which the pandemic is one of certain situations because they're thinking more of pocketbook than anything else. Honestly, the government should have stepped in and been like, okay, we'll pay, because you don't need to pay the kids, they got scholarships. But the government should have stepped in and said, we'll pay the scorekeeper guy, whatever, his enough money so he can survive with a job. We'll pay enough for the whoever it is that has a job who actually contributes to like us viewing the game, or the referees or whatever, who that's their actual job and they actually get paychecks for that. We'll contribute so this hasn't had to be a thing. Since that didn't happen, you're allowing businessmen and women to dictate the lives of too many people off of money, and it's unfortunate. That's what I'm saying.
All right. So if I may, one, um, I tend to agree with you, but like we can easily go off on a tangent that moves us away from the basketball podcast. So like if nothing else, we can brain check that or what have you. Also, this is something that I know about because I checked once, but scholarships are technically taxable income. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but what I will say as far as like monetary motives and whatever, that while like I feel like coaches and players are more in the mindset of like they just want to like coach the play because like it's what you do, it's what you love. Like there is some like higher up certainly in terms of like athletic directors and conferences and schools who are struggling and trying to like justify their full price tag when people aren't getting in person classes, that there is probably some money motive to it. Definitely, and it's definitely stronger the higher up you go because at the end of the day, the student athlete is gonna have their scholarship, and the coach is and the basketball coach and football coach are gonna get paid their money regardless. Like it's a salary.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
like say I don't know the odd incentive or what have you, but those basketball and football in particular, they generate money for schools that given the pandemic or what have you, a lot of them aren't exactly rolling in dough at the moment. Um, so like I just wouldn't want to be like the president of the university at the moment. Just me personally, because you have some, shall we call them, interesting decisions to make. Uh, but in less vaguely apocalyptic fare, oh yeah, um,